Another American business announces it's ending operations in Russia, and this one is a big Wall Street bank, Goldman Sachs. It's the first of the big Wall Street players to do so. Joining us now with more is Bloomberg's Wall Street reporter, Sonali Basak. Okay, so Sonali, they're pulling all their operations out of Russia. What scale and size of operations are we even talking about here?
It's really interesting. For a bank like Goldman, it's very marginal. Goldman only has about 80 employees in Russia, some of which are Russian nationals and some of which we have previously reported are moving to Dubai. And their investment banking operation, underwriting of IPOs and debt, is only about 8th in the league tables for the country, which equates to around $20 million. And all of this is according to my own sources. You know, the interesting thing here is Goldman compared to, for example, Citigroup. Goldman, 80 employees, Citigroup, 3,000 employees. It becomes a lot more difficult to untangle yourselves then. And not just from the country itself, but from the many multinational businesses you do business with that have some exposure to Russian companies or Russian businesses themselves.
So if it may be easier for Goldman to unwind this than others, are we likely to see other big Wall Street banks following Goldman's lead here or no?
Well, I think one major gorilla in the room here is JP Morgan, which of Goldman, Citigroup, and JP Morgan, it has not yet disclosed the size of its positions there, the size of its credit exposure there, and its employee base there. For Citigroup, one thing that's interesting is though they have limited their exposure, they also are trying to sell a consumer business where one of the major buyers would have been a potentially a sanctioned entity such as VTB. So that's the complications in exiting the business itself. Plus, there's another thing that's going on in the background here, Kaylee, that I think is really important. A lot of these large Russian companies that have relied on these big investment banks to issue debt are now at crosshairs with investors who are really worried about their debt repayments.
Yeah.
So Damian Sassower and I this morning were looking through the CDS exposure, and it is enormous, the risk of default in a lot of these firms.
And that risk is one that seems to be rising. Thank you so much to Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Great Bloomberg scoop there.